Thanks so much, Ala, for joining us in for this series of webinar that we are conducting here at MoEngage. This is just one of the initiatives that we've taken to stay in touch with our audiences, our clients, and the industry in general. It's an unprecedented time for all of us, and the governments globally have mandated a bit of a lockdown in most of the countries globally, trying to flatten the curve. Now, what that also means is that the way the consumers behave, the way they consume new goods, services, or old goods and services has changed, right? And with this webinar, we want to understand what is it to be a fintech company, to be a wallet in the Middle East market, and how are you doing things differently from others to stay engaged with your consumers. However, before we move ahead with the webinar, it'd be great if you can introduce yourself, introduce your company and your role.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for hosting me. My name is Ala Dawood. I'm the head of marketing here at Cashew. Cashew is the first and biggest fintech company in the region, and we predate the term fintech. We started back in 2002, before the fintech phrase was coined. We work across the MENA region, which is one of our strengths. That we have competitors in each market, but they are mostly local to their countries. We are the unique one that we serve the whole MENA region. We have around 3 million users. From North Africa, from GCC, Egypt, and so on. And also our offering is very different from any other, that we have a bouquet of services, and we are targeting, the unbanked, what we call them in our industry, the unbanked, which are the people who do not have access to bank accounts, or, for some reason or another. Also, we target users those who have credit cards also, but they are, have some security concerns over using their credit cards. So we also cater to those people. We also, have a bunch of services. Once the user, creates an e-wallet with us, they can issue a prepaid MasterCard where they can transact online at any website that accepts MasterCard. Very soon we will introduce also a physical prepaid MasterCard that they can carry on with them wherever they go. They can also transfer money from wallet to wallet in certain also. There's also remittance option in certain countries as well. They can pay their bills, they can purchase digital goods from a sister company that we also own. It's called GoCardi, where the users can actually purchase digital cards like iTunes and Google Play and so on. So and the data is showing that around 86% of the population in the MENA region do not have access to bank accounts. So we are, a lifeline to those users. So if they don't have access to bank accounts, they also do not have access to credit cards. And if they do not have ways to transact online, they are, out of the game. So we are providing, let's say, painkillers and not cosmetics to those people. We are operating mobile first. As much more as we see the industry is going as mobile first, and I hope I covered everything. This is just in a nutshell what Cashew is, and our vision is to go cashless and to enable a cashless society through Cashew and lead the region towards a cashless lifestyle.
Great. Thanks so much for that introduction, Ala. Gives a good perspective about the field that you're playing in and the markets that you're playing in. Now, you said that 85% of the MENA market does not have access to banks, and you are reaching out to about 3 million MAUs in a month approximately. So that's still a long way to kind of go for you to cover a large part of the market. However, I mean, since COVID has impacted our lives, do you see a rapid adoption of Cashew? Have things changed for you? Are new users coming on board, and are you seeing new user behaviors?
Yes, definitely. Since the COVID, we are fortunate to be in this industry, and we are seeing some changes in user behavior. For example, we are seeing a surge in entertainment consumption among users. We've also seen an increase in user acquisition and growth in also in installs. We've seen also a growth in app usage, and also in the peer-to-peer transfers. So we are seeing a change in the users' behavior when the lockdown has been implemented in almost all of the countries in the MENA region and in the world, to be honest with you. So yes, we've seen a surge in adoption and in user acquisition as well.
Right. And with that, do you also see a change in users' behavior? I understand that you also allow for certain offline use cases as well. You have these MasterCards, the physical cards that can be used at retail stores. Now, since retail stores are closed, are the same users using those cards at online stores, at online merchants? Or are you seeing those consumers kind of dropping off? Can you just pinpoint to some different changes in behavior that you've observed?
Yeah, let me just reiterate something, that the physical cards are still coming. We are in the final stages of preparing for that, and we will see that this is our preparation for the post-COVID. Because we know that at certain point of time, COVID will go away, and people will be also, again, going and shopping, or even if it's for a limited time. For example, here in Dubai, the lockdown has been lifted between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. So we are anticipating something like that in other countries as well. So we are preparing for that. For right now, the prepaid MasterCard is a virtual one right now. Physical is coming along the way, and this is one of our preparations for the post-COVID. But even if there is COVID also, we are anticipating that they will use it online as well.
Right. Do you see some new segments of merchants coming up? You said entertainment is one category that's popped up. What are some interesting categories that have recently popped up in the last 2-3 months, where you're seeing heavy usage of your wallet?
I would say like gaming, movie streaming, also spending on Facebook for advertisers as well. So this is some of the interesting categories, but mainly, movie streaming and gaming, for example. Gaming is a huge segment, and it's been a huge segment in our users, but it's going also exponentially right now among our users.
All right. So changing times call for change in tactics, change in practices. What are the changes that you are bringing in to your marketing? What elements are you drawing to make sure that your communication with your consumers is world-class and more users adopt your products at this time?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we have a bunch of initiatives that we did. One of them was a CSR initiative that we, corporate social responsibility, that we implemented, and we lifted our fees on our products for a certain period of time in response to COVID, to allow users to, and new users that we acquired to use the services, and it was welcomed by our users. We also have an initiative in Ramadan as well, because we are seeing that people also still in the lockdown, and one of the certain practices in Ramadan here in the region, which is charity work and donations. So we have also enabled and facilitated the donations for users. We have also a campaign around donations as well. We are also focusing on expats and facilitating the peer-to-peer transfer and remittances as well. And we also have, released a video series of tutorials and, messaging directly. Most of them were not even scripted. It's just us and the marketing team, myself and my team, addressing the consumers directly and telling them about our services and our initiatives. And it was welcomed, and it was very successful. And we're also slashing our fees here on our prepaid MasterCard during Ramadan, also in celebration of the month, and to encourage users to adopt the service even more.
Right. Interesting that you bring up the point that it's the holy month of Ramadan, right? And you have slashed your pricing. Has that kind of impacted or increased the peer-to-peer transactions? And by what percentage can you kind of quantify?
Yeah, I would say it was by around, if we're saying about month over month, it's around 80% growth.
Right.
Now, yeah.
Are you also seeing consumers kind of shift money between various wallets?
Yes. Yes. We are seeing increase in those products, like peer-to-peer transfer. Also, our MasterCard has also seen an increase, and also as I told you, that also user acquisition is going strong, and the active users also on our app is also picking up.
Right. So we'd like to kind of understand that, because the adoption is pretty high, and obviously once things become normal, there are chances that you may observe that people are going back to old practices, old habits. They may not use the wallet so efficiently or so rigorously. What are the practices that you've imbibed to kind of stay engaged with your consumers and to make sure that, the churn after COVID ends is kind of low for you?
Yeah, so we are planning a couple of campaigns, incentivized campaigns, to incentivize users to be active with our, services. And one program that I'm very proud about, we call it internally the Ninja program, where we reward our most active users and the most engaged users, and we've seen exponential growth in that area. And we're seeing that these are the top tier people, and we recognize that these top tier people are our, let's say, front line, and the word of mouth is going to be huge. So we're seeing that with this program, and we are refining and adding features to that. And we are continuing and we will be doubling down on that program. This is one of the programs that it's our take on loyalty program. So we're saying that loyalty programs is going to be one of the major things that we are going to focus on. One other thing is gamification. Also, we are going to implement gamification because a big segment of our users already spend on gaming. So it's going to be interesting how things will turn out, but we are having high hopes to also the gamification aspect of our app.
Interesting that you bring up the point about loyalty. What are the pillars to create a good loyalty program so that it can be successful and increase adoption?
Well, I would say we have huge loyal people that they told us over our communication channels that you are the best and we will not use other services than yours. I would say that the ease of use and direct communication and feeling like give them the feeling that they are valued customers. In my opinion, that you have to be consumer centric and cater to their needs and resolve their issues if there is any issue very quickly and swiftly. I think that creates the trust between users and the business. And again, we've seen a lot of testimonies from our users that they are satisfied and they feel that they are valued when it comes to dealing with our business.
Right. Now, as you see more and more consumers kind of walking into you, and they're kind of forced in a way because these are the new normal, right? Are you seeing, or rather, have you cut down on your marketing spends? Are you still continuing to acquire consumers spending the same amount of money?
No. There will be no cuts on fortunately, because we are, in the area that we are operating in. We are seeing growth in every corner, and that did not affect our budget by any means. The shifting, as I told you, was about CSR and being more direct to our consumers and catering to their needs, and giving them communication from the heart. Again, the video series that we did, it was a very successful exercise where we addressed our users directly, and it was unscripted as well. You can check it out on our YouTube as well if you would like, or on our Facebook page to see what we were talking about.
Right. So that just means more work for your team, or have their KPIs kind of changed?
Yeah, more work for the team, especially. Yes, more work for the team.
So nothing in their KPIs have changed, I assume?
No.
All right.
No.
How do you plan to tackle scenarios once COVID ends? I don't know when it's going to end. I think nobody knows today when the situation will improve, or maybe it'll improve in a phased, graded manner. However, how are you looking at post-COVID scenarios at Cashew, and especially the marketing?
Yeah, well, we are pretty much optimistic. We think that, with all the horrible things that COVID brought, there is also a light at the end of the tunnel, which is it opened the eyes of the masses for the need for fintechs. And we believe that this is a learning curve from the users. And we are, anticipating that post-COVID, fintech adoption will be the new norm, and whatever users that we acquired throughout this period will be also with word of mouth and with the need that we provide. It's going to be the new norm, I would say, and it will cement the idea of cashless interaction. As well as that, I think that even post-COVID, people will also be cautious about their health, and the World Health Organization, suggests that people stay away from cash as much as possible. So I think the health concerns will also carry on after that. And with that, I think fintechs and cashless interaction is going to be the new norm.
So how does that translate into a differentiated marketing offering from your side? Will your marketing communication change? Will your marketing practices change? What will be the elements from Cashew's marketing perspective?
Well, it's going to be like our core, message will still the same. which was what we believe in, and which is what our vision is, which is a cashless society through Cashew. So this will not change, and we believe that also in a world that the world is going cashless no matter what. It's just a matter of time, and maybe COVID has speeded things up, and we will still be true to our core belief that we can lead the society through a cashless lifestyle. This is our core messaging. This will not change. Maybe the tactics will be changing from country to country, depending on the COVID situation, but we will still be true to our core values.
Right. Now, because you operate in multiple countries, right? Is there any understanding that you can share? Are there some countries that have kind of picked up on Cashew wallet much faster as compared to some others?
Yes, North Africa. North Africa. And the reason for that is because the regulations when it comes to credit cards are much more strict, and even issuing a credit card is really limited there. So we are a lifeline to those users, in particular in North Africa.
Oh, nice. I didn't know of that. It's difficult to get a credit card.
Yeah, very difficult.
All right. Cool. So, downtime for pretty much all of us, less work for us, but more work for you and your team. How are you keeping your teams engaged, their morale's high, getting the best in productivity from them?
Yeah, so actually, also one of the, with all the horrible things, again, that happened with COVID, some positive things also happened. What we've seen is that, working from home, I personally had, a fear when we first implemented it that the communication will not be as effective, but it turns out that we are, more effective because also my team is spread into across 3 countries, like in Jordan, in Egypt, and in Dubai as well. So we've seen much more harmony and much more productivity because the team is super engaged. We have one of the brightest people in the industry on board, fortunately for that, and so the communication is top notch, and maybe because everyone is staying at home, maybe they're a little bit, let's say, relaxed when it comes to, you don't have to wear work clothes. You can work from the couch. Yeah.
I just popped up this shirt for the webinar. Yeah, true. I mean, pretty much a lot of us are complaining of Zoom fatigue or Hangout fatigue. I'm not sure how to deal with it. But are you seeing some sort of fatigue setting into the team?
No. To be honest with you, no. We have regular meetings, and we pop out from meeting to a meeting. And for me, it's exciting, how technology, and I'm curious to see even, I've read some numbers about Zoom. I don't remember, but they have exponential growth in their users as well. So good for them.
Great. Yeah, and good for them. I think we'll kind of open up the session for the attendees. If they have any questions for you, they can ask. Yeah. So I'll read out the question for you. Hi, Ala. As you mentioned that Cashew will see a slight decline in transactions once the market opens up. Don't you think users will now adapt to cashless mode of payment as a step towards the new normal? In that case, a lot more companies, banks would venture into cashless payments. How do you see Cashew staying ahead of the curve?
Yeah, sure. So I'm not sure that I mentioned that we will see a slight decline. What we are anticipating is that the growth is going to be it will continue because cashless will be the main norm. Now there are some, there will be fierce competition coming from all over the place, like NoonPay as Arpita mentioned, and Kareem Pay, Zomato, and all of that. But one big advantage that we have over other competitors is that we are ubiquitous across the region. Nobody else has two things that we have, and this is what makes us ahead of the curve. Number one is that we are moving, we are spread across the region, and a user who has a Cashew e-wallet in even post-COVID, if they can travel to a different country, they can top up their wallet there and use their wallet, and the peer-to-peer transfer is also cross-border, so people can and expats from Saudi Arabia, for example, can send money and send Cashew credit to Egypt and so forth. So this is number one. Now, number two, the amount of services and the bouquet of services that we are offering, and we are still pumping out product after another. This is something that it will take other competitors, some time to catch up to us. We have, we've been fortunate that we started before everybody else, and we also, that does not mean that we are old and cannot change. That means that we are, fast and nimble as well, and we adopt to the ever-changing market. It's one of the most, interesting markets to operate in, because the market is not yet mature as any other market, like the US or Europe, if you compare the two markets. And again, the number of services that we offer differ from any other competitor, whether it's prepaid gift cards, prepaid MasterCard, paying bills, transferring money, remittances, and so on.
Right.
And I encourage, if it's a shameless plug, but I encourage everybody who's attending to download Cashew app and try for themselves.
For sure. Always acquiring new users. Huh?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how many of us live in your core markets.
Yeah.
But definitely, whenever I get back to traveling to UAE, I'll give it a try for sure. We have a question. Arpita, I hope that answered your question. Great. So the next question is from Cherian. He says, hello there. What is the reason for going towards the physical cards market? What is your thought on ease of making regular payments across stores with digital wallets in the UAE?
If I understand the question correctly, it's what's the reasons for going after physical cards?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So the reason for that is that we want, again, to be the super app that offers everything when it comes to cashless interaction. And one piece of the puzzle that we are anticipating is that physical cards will complement the cashless interaction and will completely negate the need for cash. We are preparing for it right now, but it's post-COVID. But that even if COVID continues for a long time, we are anticipating a use for it online, and it's to diversify offering that we have. Another, maybe it's superficial, but we've also seen that, okay, let's take myself, for example. I would prefer to have, because I'm a loyal customer for Cashew, I would prefer to have a physical card just to hold it in my hand rather than, only virtual. Now the virtual, I cannot lose it. It's always in my e-wallet, and that's the advantage of virtual cards. I have it whenever I need it. But we are, preparing for post-COVID from this moment.
Right. We've seen a lot of companies do that. I think, Cherin, we've seen some of the wallets in India also go the same route, launching a physical card a couple of years after launching the wallet. So I think it just kind of answers two needs of the customers. One, wallets are not utilized everywhere, right? They do not answer for all the use cases. And wherever they don't, I think the physical card comes in very, very handy.
Yeah.
Right. Cherin, I hope that kind of answers your question. Do we have any other questions from the attendees?
No open question. Guys, do you have any more questions? You can just write it down here or in the chat box. Alpita is all good. Great.
Cool. Right. Oh no, we have one more coming in.
Yeah, from Madhupriya.
Madhupriya asks, post-COVID era is definitely the cashless era for more reasons than one, health, convenience, etc. What is your opinion on cybersecurity part of it? Any concerns?
Now, I would say that cybersecurity is a concern, whether it's pre-COVID, during COVID, or post-COVID. And, we take security and data security very, very seriously. We have also one of the brightest people that working on security. We are ISO certified, and we take our security very, very seriously, because also we are in the fintech region, sphere. So it's not a cosmetic, nice to have feature. It's a necessity to operate in this kind of business. So we are seeing that we're not very sure that the cybersecurity threats will increase, particularly because of post-COVID. We're seeing that cybersecurity is a serious issue that needs to be addressed, whether pre-COVID, during COVID, or after COVID.
Right. Madhupriya says that's answer her question. Any other questions, guys? No. Good. Right. So that pretty much answers everyone's questions, including mine. I think one final question would be, are you investing in new technologies, new channels, new partners to stay ahead of the curve? And this is in continuation to what Arpita had asked, right? How are you, you've mentioned on the marketing front, how are you going to stay ahead and the use cases? In terms of technology, do you see any new technology playing an important role in helping you move ahead?
Yes, we are, planning to use automation and invest more in automation and marketing, in automation in general, and marketing automation. This is something that we are on the lookout for, and using AI as well. This is something that we are also looking into, because we're seeing that in the coming 5 years, it's going to be a necessity, not just also something nice to have. When you scale and become bigger and bigger, you need to have, automation services, whether you invest in it internally or you bring aboard some technology providers to help with that. But we're seeing that automation is the way forward.
Right. An interesting use case that's come up in India, at least, is that there's a lack of cash in the currency, right? What that means is people will start applying for new loans, they'll start borrowing from the market, right? Do you think Cashew will also go down that route, that it will start operating in the loan category as well to create another differentiator for itself?
Well, I cannot comment on that, but what we're seeing is what we are doing is that we are tackling each and every, let's say, segment of the fintech very seriously, and we are considering each and every one of those. So believe me, we are, we have some also strategies down the line to operate in, and this might be one of them, but I cannot specifically comment on that.
Right, I understand that. Good. So I think I'm pretty much done with most of the questions that I had. If the audience has any further questions, we can address those or call it a day. We'll give them a minute to kind of type in their questions, just in case. So you're back to work, I assume, Ala?
Yes.
This was lifted, what, Monday, I assume?
Sorry?
The ban was lifted from Monday?
Yeah, it's from the beginning of Ramadan here in Dubai. Yeah, it was from the beginning of Ramadan. And we will see how it goes after Ramadan. It was used to be 24-hour, but at the beginning of Ramadan, it's the ban is from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m.
Yeah. Good. I think that there are no more questions coming in.
No questions, I guess.
Right. Thanks so much, Ala, for kind of joining us over here.
Yeah.
Sorry for the early glitches.
Yeah, it's okay. No problem.
Right. You've been wonderful in sharing some of your tactics, some of your business intelligence with us. Thanks so much once again for that. And we'll stay in touch.
Thank you very
much. Thanks, Ala. All the best. Talk to you soon. Thanks, guys, for joining this webinar.
Thanks.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much. Bye.